Welcome back to the channel, where I give you my recommendations up front for new streaming content, and then you stay tuned to see if I can justify my recommendations. Today, we're going to go and actually take a look at The Pitt on Max. And if you are a target audience for this particular series, meaning that you love medical dramas, complex drama series, or you're a fan of Noah Wyle, you're going to want to go and actually binge this whole entire season. Now, if you're a casual, this genre isn't normally your thing, you're trying to figure out if this is something worth your time, I'm going to go and actually recommend you watch the first episode of this series, and that'll be enough for you. Now, let's take a deeper dive into The Pitt.
Being here means no matter how good you are or how hard you try, someone might die. That's called being an emergency medicine doctor.
The Pitt is a medical drama that goes through a 15-hour shift at a trauma center located in Pittsburgh, PA. It premiered in January of 2025 on Max, or formerly known as HBO Max, and it contains 15 episodes that run about 55 minutes each. And it stars Noah Wyle as Dr. Michael Ravanovich, Tracy Flecker as Dr. Collins. I apologize, probably totally murdered her name. My apologies. Patrick Ball as Dr. Frank Langdon. Synopsis goes like this. The daily lives of healthcare professionals in a Pittsburgh hospital as they juggle the personal crises, workplace politics, and the emotional toll of treating critically ill patients, revealing the resilience required in their noble calling. Now, when you go and actually look at it, obviously, medical dramas are some of the most compelling TV shows in TV history. Sudden Elsewhere was one of the first ones that really gained a lot of acclaim in their complex storytelling. And even nowadays, we have like Chicago Med or Grey's Anatomy. But the one to rule over them all was ER. ER gave a lot of stars their big break. And this was due to personal and professional stories that were told in a very complex and cinematic way. Stars like George Clooney, Anthony Edwards, Eric LaSalle, Ming-Na Wen, and so many more. But the mainstay through the entire 15-season run was Noah Wyle as Dr. John Carter. As a young intern to an attending physician, we watch him grow and mature over the years. While not all medical dramas are my cup of tea, ER certainly was. And when you kind of take a look at The Pitt with a more mature Dr. Carter, as it were, and it seems to be a very similar type of show. We're going to be in a trauma center. We're going to go and actually be dealing with complex stories, both with the patients and the doctors. And again, Noah Wyle encompasses that. Like, I think he's always going to be known as that. I've seen him take some other roles and things like that over in movies and series, but he's always going to be Dr. Carter. So I am a target audience member for this particular series. Why is that important? You should always know where your reviewer is coming from when taking their recommendations. If you like how that sounds, do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe. And now let's go ahead and actually figure out why I gave those recommendations. In episode 1, I like how it's operated kind of like the show 24 with Kiefer Sutherland, and that it's every hour or every episode is 1 hour into that shift. So it's a continuous aspect of storytelling here. And it's almost, it feels like one day, everything just goes from day to day. It's just, it's always an interesting way for them to go and actually do that, and I really appreciate it. The first episode was definitely a whirlwind watch. A lot of different things going on, a lot of different stories that they present, including introducing you to the staff characters and all that kind of good stuff. It definitely goes back to the seasons of ER when you can't look away, except here's the thing. There's no commercial breaks to break up anything. So everything that's going on, you feel all of that in the continuous hour, and it just goes and goes and goes. When we're introducing the doctors, the nurses, and of course the med students, along with the dozens of other patients, there's so many different situations going on that they really give you a good case of kind of like different variety of cases, what's going to be at stake here, and just kind of building it up for you. Noah Wyle's character is the main doctor, and as we see that he's dealing with a lot in running this particular trauma center, which appears to go ahead and actually be in some type of financial crisis. Of course it is, because why would not have that extra bureaucratic aspect to it as well. So all of that is going on and still trying to run this trauma center. They end the first episode in an effect way, giving an insight into the day and time that a lot of healthcare providers all over the world could relate to being stressed. And that was during a pandemic. So at the very end, they kind of flash back to where that trauma center was during a pandemic time or what have you. And that was, a very intriguing way to go and actually end that first episode. Second episode, they continue right where the previous one left off, obviously because of the story structure. Continue the previous cases, introducing a couple of new ones, and keep up the same frenetic pacing. It does a good job of not letting you get too comfortable with any one person or scene, and it really kind of drags you in. That if there's one thing that you can't take a little bit too long, it'll kind of get you along and get you to another one. The ending of that second hour was really intense, emotional, and I'm just going to tell you, you just kind of you really feel it at the end of that one in that second episode. Now, when I went ahead and actually finished watching those first two episodes, when I tried to think about what a comparison this would go and actually be, the large thing on there is it's ER without the network restrictions on blood, language, and subject matter. So I would say like 80% of the DNA of this particular series is like ER. There's also elements of like the original MASH movie, just because of the nature of it just being finality and some really critical cases and things like that. And then the other aspect that I've kind of hinted to here is that the shooting and the premise of filming each episode within an hour, the 15-hour shift, and having that same continuity is attention similar to 24. So those are my initial thoughts of the first two episodes. Storytelling, I'm going to go ahead and actually give it a solid A. Honestly, there's not much to critique here as regards to the storytelling. If you're someone that doesn't like multiple stories or cases, or you hate frenetic pacing, then this could be difficult to watch, and that will make it's not going to be a pleasure to watch for you. But everyone else, it's going to be okay. And I think even for you that don't like frenetic pacing on there, give it a try, just because of the emotionality that comes with everything. They attempted to give you heart, humanity, story, and business and practicality in every episode. And so really trying to go and actually deal with what our healthcare system deals with.
Always this busy?
No, it gets a lot busier.
There's a nursing shortage across the country.
That is bullshit. If you paid them a living wage, they'd line up to work here.
Other hospitals are managing this crisis. Either step up or step aside.
Everything is well thought out, and although some situations are a little predictable and or inevitable, we're presented with a humanistic perspective that at least we can go and actually think on and take away from that subject matter. In regards to the acting I'm also going to give it the solid A. Noah Wyle, as I stated, is the main character in this series. And that's a good thing because he slips back into his Dr. Ravanovich role seamlessly. He's a doctor, he's a mentor, he's a manager, and he's a friend in these two episodes, but he plays them as he needs to and kind of can detach from various different things, and that he really knows how to go ahead and actually play the different levels on there. And while Noah may be the main guy, there are some other good performances. All of the veteran doctors are very good in their roles as being kind of like the second lieutenants for him. But outside of Rabyanovich, your main enjoyment of this series is probably going to be how much you like the medical students. Because honestly, they're all done very well enough to either project what you want out of like med students, whether they're like annoying or innocent or competitive or lack of experience or just being naive, whatever the case may be. They give all that to you, and they are the ones that you're going to go ahead and actually probably elevate or downgrade this series based off of them. I will go ahead and actually say shout out to Jaron Howell's character. His character gets some heavy lifting right off the bat within the first two episodes, and I really like the way that he came through it. But overall, the supporting cast is great in this particular show. In summary, it's evident that Max has another hit on their hands here, hands down. Choosing to show the perspective of emergency medicine through the eyes of an overworked staff, med students, desperate patients, emergency victims, hospital admin, etc. It's always crazy because we know living here in America that it is just it's crazy. The healthcare system is crazy. And this show is going to come out blazing, quick pace, and really get you in there to try and familiarize you on the plights, the falls, and successes and triumphs and humanity that goes along with being in the hospital care business. And honestly, without network commercials interrupting the story, you'll find yourself immersed in a medical drama that makes you question how America provides healthcare to its people, and should it continue to go that way. Again, if you are a target audience member for this, watch the whole series. I'm just telling you, do it. And then casuals, you can get what you need to out of that first episode. You can really kind of make that determination. But that's what I have for The Pitt, showing on Max. Check it out.
150,000 people die every day in the world. Today you got one of them.
I appreciate you staying for the entire review. I really do. Do me a favor. If you liked any of this, go ahead and actually click a like. If you want to share with some people, that'll be great. And the best thing that you can do for the channel would be to subscribe. We're inching our way up to like 400, want to get to 500, all that kind of good stuff on there. So whatever you could do, be great. You can also watch one of these other videos on here that the algorithm seems to think that you might like of mine. But until the next time, I'll holler at you. Take care of yourself.
Now that's a happy ending. Or is it? Because everything's over now. And all that's left is you and the infinite void.